Let me say good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio. Good morning to you once again. Those of you in GBN Television, good morning and welcome. To those of you via our social media platforms, whether it's a Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning and welcome. It's Thursday, March 13th, significant date in the history of Grenada. And with us this morning, usually we have the various departments within the RGPF, and today we do have the Immigration Department, I could say it in that particular way. And our subject of conversation this morning will be the issue surrounding passports. Everybody always wants to find out what's going on with a passport. In terms of we were talking about the process of obtaining a passport, the types of passports that are available, and all the other information that we'll see that, of course, will fit into the conversation this morning in terms of passport. Let me say good morning to, of course, representatives this morning. Good morning.
Good
Don't ask me
morning.
for names.
Good morning.
I'm bad with names, you know that. Good morning to both of you and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. So we're going to start off this morning in terms of, let's talk about the application process for starts. Someone is interested in getting themselves a passport. Maybe they want to travel for the first time. Or maybe it's a renewal process they want to do. Or they may have lost their passport. All of that intertwines in terms of getting a passport. Let's talk about the application process. How does it start for an individual wanting to get a passport?
Okay, so good morning again to you, Mr. Telesford, and the listening public.
I like GT. I like GT. Okay. I can work with GT.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yes, so I am Woman Corporal, number 12 Patrick. And today we are here to discuss, as GT said, matters involving passports. So it's a pleasure to be here. As I begin, I must say, passports are issued to persons who are citizens of Grenada.
Okay.
And one can be a citizen either by birth, so you've been born in Grenada, by descent, and when I say descent, I mean parentage. So if one or both of your parents are born in Grenada, you born outside of Grenada, you can apply for a Grenadian passport.
Yeah.
The third one is through registration. So if you're married to a Grenadian, or if you're a naturalized person, you've been living here for a certain length of time, you can apply for a passport as well. You can apply for citizenship first, and then you can apply for the passport. And also one can get a passport through investment.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So on the 21st of March 2001, the Immigration Department, that's when we started issuing the machine-readable passports. Any person who holds a passport before that date, they will have in their possession a handwritten passport. And at present, if you have to apply for a passport, we consider you to be a first-time applicant.
Okay.
Because these people with a handwritten, we have no records of them in our system.
All right.
So we have to treat them as if they are.
I guess that was more or less the older process of how passport
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
So whole passport was how you
Yes.
were able to obtain a passport
Yes.
through that handwritten way. All right.
Yes. So I will talk about the types of passport. So we issue the regular passport.
Yeah.
All citizens entitled to apply for that passport, and that's the blue passport.
Okay.
That's the one you and I hold.
All right.
Right. Then you have the diplomatic, that's the kind of red burgundy color, and the green, which is the official passport. And these two, they're issued by the government, by appointed persons,
Okay.
based on the position you hold. Right? So I'll now get into the application.
The application
for-
process.
Yes, for a passport. So I'll start with the first-time applicants. Right? So if you're applying for the first time, if you're a Grenadian by birth, you would need your birth certificate. And all these documents must be in the original copy. If you're applying by registration, you would need the registration certificate. That's where you get from Home Affairs.
Okay.
By parentage, you would need your birth certificate together with your parent birth certificate. And when you're applying by descent, we must see the connection with the parent name on the child's birth certificate and on the parent birth certificate. It must be in sync with each other.
If not to cut you there, so supposedly someone wants to obtain. Well, I know GT is my father. That's what I was told. But for some reason, his name is not on my passport. Maybe my mom has deceased or somebody else. How does that problem get rectified there?
If you're
Okay, for instance, someone may
you're
know.
born in Grenada.
I'm a Grenadian.
Yes.
I want a passport. Someone saying, "Well, GTs, let me see if I can rephrase this whole quick question. How I want to bring it across for you." Someone may have born in another country. Let's do it this way.
Okay.
But they know that their father is a Grenadian. All right. For some reason, coming to Grenada, maybe as a youngster, and now getting to a particular age, they want to obtain a passport. Their father's name is not on their birth certificate. All right, maybe their mom or their mother will say is non-Grenadian also. How is that problem rectified? In terms of them obtaining a passport.
A passport, if the father's name is not on the birth certificate.
But he's the only living one as a living relative.
Well, first, we would send them to Birth Standards because Birth Standards is the authority as it relates to rectifying names. If there is no one or it cannot be worked out, then we send them to be registered. But because, as the corporal is stating, your information must be consistent. Your name, your father's name on your birth certificate must match your name, his name on his birth certificate.
I ask this again because I'm saying, maybe, sometimes the father's name is never on birth certificate for some reason.
Yes.
So father's name are never on birth certificate for some reason.
Yes.
So that's where my question was leading.
Yes.
How is it that we're able to obtain still? Being the father is the only living relative that they have now in terms of the paternal father.
Right.
But his name is not on the birth certificate.
Right.
The mother has deceased. How would that be rectified in terms of them obtaining a passport?
Well, first of
Going
all,
through the entire application process.
as she said, you may have to advise them to see the registrar to find a way to have the father's name inserted on the birth certificate. So there are ways it can be done by inserting the father's name. So we will tell them, go to the registry. They're the expert there. So they will advise them as to the process.
What kind of process you need to do for them. Okay. I just wanted to tweak that. Sometimes people do have those concerns.
We understand.
Have those concerns sometimes. Well,
Yes.
my father's name is not on my birth certificate. How am I going to get a passport? Know that my mom is not alive, or whatever. You understand that process?
Yes, we do experience that. And if when they finish by the registrar, it still cannot be rectified, then the next step they would have to go to Home Affairs.
Okay. Great.
Yes.
Great. That's real nice. So let's continue the rest of the application process.
So for women, they have to produce a marriage certificate. Right? If they divorced as well, they produce the divorce certificate. Men they are not required to produce such documents.
Why not?
Men name don't change. Yes. Yes, our names change. Right. So continuing the completed application form. And all the relevant section must be completed by the applicant. So we advise persons to take time off. There is an instruction sheet that comes with the application form. Read it in its entirety before attempting all the questions, all the sections, because you want to ensure that you put the right information there. Right?
Or even if the process has been done by someone else, make sure you review. Or they can review it with you, make sure that the information is correct, whatever has been shown on. Okay.
So a valid photo ID is required from persons 18 years and above. For persons under 18 years of age, the parent ID must be produced. As I said, we're talking about applying for the first time. All right. For persons 18 years of age and above, again, they must appear in person because we do an interview with that person. Right? So there is a form they complete, and we would sit with you and we have a little chat where we learn and we advise you as well as to the care and safety of the passport.
Is that a new initiative that has been put in? It's always been there?
It's always
I don't think
been
I've ever been through that process.
How old were you when you had your first passport?
My first passport was maybe around 14, 15 years
Okay,
old.
that's why.
Right?
That's why.
But if you come in for renewal process, that interview is not needed
No.
after that.
No,
it's
Only
not.
the first time you're
First
obtaining
time.
at the first
Yes,
time. Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
I thought it was done in terms of whenever you come for a passport.
No.
Well, you
No.
didn't mention at a particular age, so my
Yes.
bad on that
Yes,
part of it.
yes.
All right.
So continuing 2 passport size photograph is required. And of course, the recommender who is doing section 11 or 12 based on the form you hold, they must certify at the back of one of the photographs to say this is a true likeness of the holder, insert the signature and the date. A photo, also the photo must not be more than 6 months old. And again, the person have an option. We do live capture at the office. It's free of charge. So if you do not want to go to the photo studio or you don't have time to go to the photo studio, you can present yourself for the live capture.
Okay.
All right. So the treasury receipt, and of course, that money is paid at any government revenue office. So we have a sub office to the treasury downstairs, right in the gardens where we work, right? And the time frame for the first time applicants can range between 10 to 14 business days.
All right.
And that's for investigation purposes.
Okay.
Yes.
When you speak of investigation purposes, I just want to detail it a bit more. What does that process go? How does that process go through?
Well, that process...
Getting to talking to individuals, say, hey, I know you make sure that is GT, I'm talking to GT, what his history of whatever information you want to find out.
That process involves we making contact with other entities to ensure that that person may not have an offense, that they committed a crime or something that they may trying to run away from, or as I say, you have to ensure that the person who presented themselves before you with a document to say, like our birth certificate, you can just go to the birth standards and apply for a birth certificate, right?
Yes.
You doesn't have to show
doesn't necessarily mean I'm the individual who actually came for it.
So we must do our checks and balances to ensure that the documents before us and the person before us, they go hand in hand.
Okay, understand.
Yes.
It's listening to you say that, it comes across kind of clear, because someone could come with a birth certificate saying they are going to Telesford.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Get a picture and sign my name too, right?
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily mean I am the exact person who's that. So that's understandable.
And it happens here. Sometimes we had an incident where somebody applied for her birth. They go to the cemetery, maybe get a deceased person name, go and get a birth certificate.
And they use it.
And they try to use it to get a passport. Yeah. You know?
Interesting. The legs folks would go. Anything else in terms of application process we may have missed?
Well, I only did the first time with you, so I'll let Miss Alexis review the renewal.
Interested in doing a renewal?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. So when one is applying for a new passport, because they already have a passport, or you will see the renewal process, that person need to complete the passport form. And as Ms. Patrick stated, you can get the passport form at any one of our offices throughout the island. Main office, Botanical Gardens, Guelph, Grenville, Soters, Caracou. Police stations, we have sub-offices there. Or you can go online and you can get the form there. So you complete the passport form. When you come into the office, you need to walk with your previous passport or your present passport.
Okay.
You only walk with birth certificate, marriage cert, or divorce certificate if throughout the 5 years you had the passport, your information was changed. So within that 5 years, you may have been married, you were divorced, or your name changed, the order of your name, your surname, something was changed, you need to walk with the supporting document.
Okay.
If everything remains the same, you do not need to walk with additional documents. You just walk with the passport, the form, your photographs, as Ms. Patrick stated, or you can take photographs at our office, and the treasury receipt.
And that's it?
Yes. For children, 17 years and under, is $250.
Okay.
Adults, 18 years and over, $350. And as we have informed the public, the years in passport were changed. Children, 5 years, adults, 10 years. Yes.
Right.
So that's for when you're applying for a new.
Okay, so that takes care of the application process.
Yes.
We drew for a break. Let's take it when we come back. We got talk about much more to talk about. Stay with us, folks. To the point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We coming right back.
Deals are...
Grenada. It's time to feel the adrenaline and crown national champions. The Horizon National Championship 2025 is expected to be bigger, faster, and more thrilling than ever. Mark your calendars for March 15th and 16th at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. The nation's best athletes will battle for glory in electrifying races, soaring jumps, and powerful throws. Admission, finish line $30, main stand $20, bleachers $10. Speed, strength, and heart-stopping finishes. It's all happening from 11 a.m. daily. Be there to witness future Grenadian stars. Get your tickets now at Grenadian Optical, Melville Street, St. George, and Spiceland Mall, Grand Anse, and GoToFed.com.
Grenada, the moment you've been waiting for has arrived. The Spice Mass Corporation presents The Unveiling, where elegance meets excitement in a night of beauty, artistry, and anticipation. On March 14th at 8 p.m., the Trade Center Annex transforms into a spectacle of grace and grandeur as 7 remarkable contestants are revealed, each vying for the coveted title of National Carnival Queen 2025. Indulge in an evening of live music, captivating performances, and pure enchantment. Dress to impress. Formal, fiery, bold, fearless. Enjoy complimentary wine on arrival as you immerse yourself in the magic. Tickets are $100, food inclusive. Available now at GoToFed, Grenadian Optical, Town and Grand Anse, and Gittins Pharmacy, Grand Anse. The Unveiling, March 14th at 8 p.m. A night of elegance, a moment in history. Will you be there?
Welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers, Classic Radio, GBN TV, to the point here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. Of course, we have the Immigration Department with us this morning, and we're talking issues surrounding passports here on the program. Of course, welcome back to my guest once again. My next question goes along these lines. In terms, still on the keep on the application process, because it's still relevant to like application anyway.
Yes.
Someone lost their passports. Your passport may have been damaged, stolen. For some reason or the other, how does that individual know reobtain a passport under those circumstances?
Okay. All right. So someone passport was lost, stolen, or damaged. Yeah. Procedure is quite the same for 3 of them. Yeah. So in the event that happened, you need to complete a new passport form. Yeah. You must have a police report or an affidavit. You can get an affidavit done by a JP or a lawyer. So either or. Police report or affidavit. Right. And you pay the fee of $350 if that passport was already expired. Okay. Now, if the passport was valid at the time of loss, stolen, or damaged, you pay the fee of $700 if you're an adult. Okay. If you're a child, you pay $500. So the fee is doubled. Okay. Right? Now, you produce all these documents to the office, and you also will need to walk with your birth certificate, marriage certificate. We take all the information from you again. And you come to the office, you submit that application, and the process starts. Now, regularly, passport takes 3 days to process. But if your passport is lost, stolen, or damaged, the process will be longer because we have to do our internal investigation. If the passport is damaged, you need to walk with that damaged passport because it's not lost, it's damaged. So you still have it in your possession.
So maybe there's been a fire, there's been a flood or something for reason, and it can't be used after that.
Yes. Okay. And in case of a fire, of course, you still get the fire report from the police. Okay. Yes. Okay. So all these documents you need to submit. Now, if at the time of loss, stolen, or damage, the passport was expired, you need to produce the documents. But if you do not have the affidavit or anything like that, you come to the office and we give you a form that you will complete right there. So there's a difference with validity or expiration. Okay. Yes. Okay. Ms. Patrick will continue for the other.
All right. So she mentioned the police report or the affidavit, and I just want to add that those documents, it must clearly outline the circumstances of how that passport was lost, stolen, or damaged.
Okay.
It should not be a vague document. I must reiterate that so that people would have it clearly. Sometimes people come to the office and they just have an affidavit stating that my passport was lost without saying
Details.
how, no details.
How did the process go through?
How the
If it didn't?
process
That's good.
came
All right,
about.
all right.
Right, so we ask persons to ensure that the document is detailed so that we can work with the document. All right, persons losing or their passport in the diaspora, if it was stolen or damaged, I want to advise that you have to apply at the nearest consulate where that happened. So, for example, you're living in the U.S. and your passport was lost in the U.S. There are 3 consulates in the U.S. There is one in New York, one in Washington, and one in Miami. So you cannot send on your passport, your document, your information for a family member to do it down here on your behalf because they may not be able to answer questions that we would want to ask them about the incident. So it is important that you apply in the diaspora where you have lost your passport or where it was stolen or damaged. Okay, and we have many consulate offices throughout the world.
Another question, you wanted to highlight anything on that?
No, go ahead.
A question that comes to mind, time frame for renewal. Is there a particular time frame for renewal?
Yes.
My passport may have expired 6 months ago, or a year ago, 2 years. Some people just don't bother with it. But
Yes.
is there a particular time frame that you should have your passport renewed?
Passport takes 3 days to be processed.
Yeah.
So you submit your application, 3 days after you come and collect your passport.
No, I was talking in the instance
Oh,
of
within-
it,
okay.
say like
Yeah.
my passport hasn't expired.
Okay,
And,
so
is there it doesn't
Yes.
matter how long
yes,
it's been expired?
if your passport can be replaced within 6 months of expiration,
Yes.
right, and you pay the regular fee. But if your passport, for some persons who have to travel for work, or some persons you may be going to study, and your passport has 1 year or maybe 8 months, and you want to replace it, now in that case you pay $700 if you're adult or $500 if you're a child. But regularly, within a 6 months period of expiration, you can come and renew your passport.
Longer than that, is there an issue if someone takes a longer period to have